they don't negotiate a lot because there are people whose health are at risk. Um, First challenge we are facing with healthcare is to do with the sensitivity of data we are dealing with healthcare. So imagine you have such health condition, maybe say leukemia or whatever, like you might have the reason to go to the hospital, and all these records are kept somewhere in the in their database. So if a bad guy can get their hands into this exposed, somebody is, can you, uh, somebody is, okay. So I want you to think of like you have your health records in the hospital, and then the bad guy comes and gets their hands on that. That exposes you as a patient in the entire health facility. You know, if they can reveal their patient's record and everything, it reduces the credibility of the hospital, the trust, and they also lose their clients. And all these records could be used by bad guys to target the patient. For instance, if I go to the hospital, like they'll take my age, date of birth, they will like my blood type, they will put all these details like where I live, my address. So if somebody has all these details about me, that means I'm not safe. They can do whatever they want with my data anytime. Based on this, the kind of attack that has been targeting most of the healthcare system is ransomware attack. This is the kind of attack, like, where it encrypts all the system and make them, like, unusable. So I want you to imagine somebody's in ICU and then that hospital get attacked. So that means all these things are the breach renders all this equipment um, not usable, and we are putting the lives of people in the hospital there at a very high risk that leads to death. And this has happened like most, like the last 2 years has been like, the rise of the ransomware attack, and healthcare facilities have been like the most targeted because of their easy target. Another problem with the healthcare we are dealing with today is because of the original design. The way this system was designed, like, it's hard to have like a backup because the equipments are very expensive, and in developing and underdeveloped countries can't just afford to have, like, like a backup system somewhere. So we have scanners, we have all these records, um, and they are shared in a way that next time when you go to the hospital, you don't need to give your details. They will just use like one, like a key, maybe your ID or like your health key number, just to access everything. So the way the system was designed, uh, it's still kind of like, hard to do the integration into the security system. This is something that is still under research, and people are trying to find a way, because um, having cybersecurity in healthcare sectors, the approach is kind of like, very different to just traditional way of protecting other assets in other organizations. So that's one sector which is being impacted by cybersecurity. And if you look at this, we are trying to find ways of how can we protect the healthcare assets, the data that they keep, and the patient at the same time, so that when there's an attack, we are able to save lives and the equipment and the data, so there's no loss at all. So the next section we're looking at the economy and how is cybersecurity affecting our economy. This is a very huge topic. Um, Economy, like every country is ranked based on their economy, and the economy is being determined by, the determination of economy is based on like, this critical infrastructure, like, energy sector, which kind of energy do they generate? Like in Kenya, we have KPLC, which provide the electricity using all these solar panels. And if you go to the energy, we have this smart grid system, which is most of the times is online, the integration that exposes that to cyber attacks. We are looking at the communication, which is like right now, this is part of communication. You guys are remote, and I'm like, in another city. So all these things are in the cyberspace. So if somebody can guess like, a way to intercept this, that puts everything at risk. We are looking at the financial services. We have banking, we have money laundering, we have fraud going around. How to do the protection of all these infrastructures to save the economy, information technology, food, and agriculture. Most of you should be aware, like right now, the agricultural sector is being digitized in most countries. So from the irrigation system, how like, all these big farms are being irrigated, how they do like, the inventory of all the products they get from the farm. So there's a very big need to protect like that sector. Healthcare, we did mention that on the previous slide, and public health sector. Like right now, we have scams going around, like with this COVID thing, people being scammed online. This is a big challenge when it comes to economy. And if all this thing can be compromised, that means the economy of the country will be in a way affected. We are looking at the transportation, water and waterway systems, and the government facilities. So there's a very big reason and need to have cyber security experts to help in protecting all these things that we have mentioned. One of the biggest challenge which is facing developing and most developed countries right now is cyber, we call it the corporate espionage. I want you to think of like, you go to school and you do a research for like 5 or 10 years. And then somebody before you can like, implement the research is just like you trying to find, okay, so if we can make fresh water from seawater, and you do a lot of investment on that, you put a lot of money, time, resources on that, and just when like everything comes to light, somebody snitches and steals everything and implements it before you implement it, that like, you loses all the resources you put into that, and then they provided a chip. So corporate espionage has been like a very big problem in 21st century, and it burns, like it kills the economy of countries because of all the resources they put in place. And then somebody, because of this cyber space, we have freedom, people can, if they have the skills, the knowledge and resources to do that, they can just like steal everything they want if you don't have measures in place. So that's how like the economy is being affected, and the impact of cybersecurity in that. And we are trying to look at like, how do we put strategies, policies, how do we implement and deploy the best and practical ways to protect all these things we have mentioned, so that the economy prevails, like the way the governments, um, plan, and they have like every, say like 3 or 5 years or 10 years, they have like this write up and plans, like we want to improve our economy from this stage to the next stage. So there is a very big need, and there's still lack of cybersecurity experts in the industry to help with protecting this. One thing that is emerging as a trend right now, we have this, we call them, they are nation state threat actors. Like most of the developed or developing countries have like cyber armies, I'll call them. These are the advanced, persistent threat actors. So this group always have specific agendas in their actions. So let's say, I'll say China. So China has been like a very vocal and with the cyber espionage, they're stealing data and making like cheap products from all the researchers made across the globe, and that kills the economy of the countries which invest in their research. And before they can implement that, then somebody comes and steal that. Another sector which is experienced like a very big impact when it comes to cybersecurity is democracy. We know like democracy, the way they put it is like the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. This means like, the citizens of a given country have the right to be part of decision making of how they want to be governed. I want to bring in some example, like, sometimes back in 2016, 2017, there's this company which made um, it made news. If you guys still remember, it was called the Cambridge Analytica. And based on like, they never did like, hacking countries to influence the decision making, but it was like kind of psychological attack. We call it social engineering in a way. So what they did was they collected data from each country, and based on the data, they look at the trends, how people behave, what people like to watch, to see, and then they feed you with the information they think will make you change your decision, like, when it comes to voting. And they did it in Kenya, they did it in, I think there's a country somewhere in Trinidad and Tobago, they did it in the US, they did it in the UK with the Brexit. And when it came to light, the company was sued and closed. So that's just one way how democracy can be, impacted by cyber security. So how do they influence elections? When we talk of democracy, we mostly talk of elections. So changing the vote, this involves like, physical intrusion, like they get the system and they change like, numbers, they put algorithms, or like they just put some sort of manipulative algorithm to change the way, when people vote for X, Y, Z, they change that one to another person. They can manipulate the opinions that inform the vote. We have seen a lot of misinformation when it comes to like when the elections are coming very close, like, there are a lot of misinformation going on from different countries or different people. They will tell you like, don't vote for this person because of this and that. And when we have all this misinformation going around, sometimes we are just humans, like, we forget to reason and we go with those kind of falsehood and not knowing that we are being manipulated. So that one way in which democracy can be, manipulated. Another way is interfering with the act of voting. So this could be like, physical, like, during voting system, maybe the system is down and then it comes up and everything changes, or maybe just interrupting, like making that place inaccessible or something like that. And the last way that democracy is being, manipulated by cyber threat actors is undermining the confidence in the integrity of vote. And this will involve all the three techniques, like, if we know like the previous election was not legit, I'll say like, next election, I think I don't want to vote because even if I vote, my vote won't count. I'm just saying. Or that means like my confidence in the process is kind of like, undermined. I don't have the the level of confidence that I need to go and vote. I'm kind of like doubting the integrity of the voting system. So most of these things happen without people knowing what is happening behind the scene or in the background. And I think as a cyber security practitioners, we need to go into all these things and help, like, how do we secure, how do we make sure, like, during this period of time, how do we detect misinformation going around during election, that like give people the right information they need to make the right decision. That's what democracy is all about, you making your own decisions. The moment I start telling you like, hey, you should not do this and this, that's not democracy. That's like I'm telling you what to do. So yeah, so another sector we are looking at security, and security like cybersecurity is part of security. But when we talk of security, I'm thinking of like we have jockey. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Sorry, I tried to unmute everyone, then it also unmuted you. Please.
It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, anyone in the session, please ensure you are on mute so that you don't create any inconvenience. Thanks, Joab.
No, you're good. You're really good. Sorry for that. So when we talk of security, I'm thinking of something like, like national security. I'm thinking of personal security. And when it comes to personal security, I want just to go through, okay, I won't use you. I will use myself as example. So right now is around, say 3:30-ish. What have I done with my phone today? Okay, I won't say exactly what I did, but I will have done like maybe been on Facebook or Twitter, posted like, some things at this place and that. We always give information, like, every time we give a lot of information, and through online, like, people trolling people, and we get like all these kind of cyber blackmails, online from people we don't know. Some people don't even exist. They just like have these unverified accounts. We have identity theft, like, somebody makes an account with your name, with your location, with your profile pictures, and somebody who is not aware will think, okay, so I'm talking to so and so, which is not, that's identity theft. We have fraud going around, like, these scams, people sending you texts like, hey, we are helping people to with tax, with filing tax and stuff like that. We need you to send this money, or like your M-Pesa, all these things, like you guys get these messages. So all these are personal level kind of like, security. When I talk to personal security, you're not safe online. Most of the times there are people targeting you once they know like, hey, you have something to keep, or we can make you think that we are helping people with this and that. But when it comes to national security, we are talking of like, we have nation state threats. These are state sponsored, like nation sponsored threat actors with a lot of resources. They're well trained, they're experts. They have everything they need. They just need like, this is our target, this is what we want, and we'll go for it. Some of the countries with, um, with the nation state threat actors, we have like, North Korea, we have Russia, we have China, and we see these things every day, like maybe they stole this information, China did this and that, Russia did this to Estonia or something like that. So these are very critical, and dangerous, and if they go through, could like bring a lot of damages and impact. When we talk of national security, we're also talking about the things we mentioned in the previous slides, the critical infrastructure. How do we communicate? Like in our communication, you go and connect into Wi-Fi. Who else is able to intercept like all the traffic and see all the transactions you're making through your M-Pesa, your bank, online shopping you're doing? You don't know exactly who is bad guy and who is the right guy. So we need to have all these things protected. We have governments like we have like the government owned facilities and procedures and all this exposed to cyber attacks. And finally, we have like the economy. We talk like how economy is driven. All this affect the national security of a country, say in Kenya or other country, Uganda, or other country that is. So when we talk of all this, like all this, we look at the healthcare security, we look at the democracy, and the other one was you look at the democracy, security, healthcare, and national security. Yeah. So the question is, how do we help all these to be secure? The thing is, like, we are lacking skills, personnel, people with knowledge, and there's a need to build on this. I don't know what other governments are doing. Like other governments are trying to build, like right now, the economy, everything is being digitized. People go to war, like most of the war starts from online attack or whatever like that. So everything is online based, like most of the time. Before I go into question, I want to just like help you guys through, like, if somebody is interested into getting into cybersecurity, you just need to have the will and the desire to get into cybersecurity. We are trying to build that cyber security capacity, helping people with no knowledge, with basic knowledge, people who are just interested to get into cybersecurity, and give them like that that first push, expose them to resources that they need, and help them like go through that process. That's something that we are still working on. I think like very soon we will be talking to Ruth and the team and find a way how to involve and help those who are interested to engage in get into cybersecurity and stuff like that. So basically that was this session about the introduction and how we can help build on this. The goal of this session, according to me, was to just to I'll say to push that interest, like to ignite it, like if you're interested in getting into cybersecurity, just to get you like what cybersecurity has to offer, why you are needed in the industry, and how we can help you get into that. I'm very interested in questions, like if you have anything that has to do with cybersecurity, what we talked about, what we haven't talked about, you feel like I need to know this and that, I'll be very happy to answer that if I can. Ruth?
There's a group. There is a message on the group.
Oh,
Rose Okech is asking, are there cybersecurity projects? Are there cybersecurity projects? Maybe are you able to unmute yourself, Rose, so that you're able to ask? I'm not sure if it's very clear to you. But
the question is, are there cybersecurity projects? Okay. I mean, it's clear to me. I don't know how I get it or like what Rose meant, but yeah, there are a lot of projects in cybersecurity. And cybersecurity is not just like, when we talk of cybersecurity, it's like IT, you know. So when you go into IT, oh, Ross is unmuted. Okay. Oh, she can't. Can you unmute her?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, she can now speak. Sorry about that.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you, Ruth. I have a question to Job.
Can you be
Am I clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm asking, are there cybersecurity projects that one can work on and then present? Like
Oh yeah.
we do with software development?
Yes. So there are a lot of cybersecurity projects you can work on. So I did start saying, like, you know, cybersecurity is like very wide. It's like IT. So when you go to IT or computer science, some people will go to software development, some people will go to system admin, some people will go to network administration or engineering, stuff like that. So when you come to cybersecurity, they are like, you know, we have like uh, we have red teaming. These people were like, you know, offensive people. They're trying to find vulnerabilities and security loopholes before the bad guys find them. And there are a lot of projects in that sector. There are people who are like, you know, defensive people who are protecting, and this could be like, you know, web application security. It could be like network security. It could be like malware analysis. You could be like a digital forensic. You could have a project in incident response. So yeah, there are projects, a lot of projects based on like which field, which area, like, are you interested in, you know. So if I get to know this is I'm interested in this area, then I can, like, you know, try to suggest some of the projects that you can get started with. I don't think if like I don't know if that answered your question, Rose.
My question is, how does cybersecurity affect the world economy?
How cybersecurity affects the world economy?
Yes.
Okay, so I will give you an example. So in 2019, Chinese company by the name Comac, they released, like, you know, they revealed one of the flight they have been working is I think it's C-119 flight. This was like a big thing. So China has this kind of they have like this economic settings. They say like this within the next 5 years, between 2020 and 2025, we need to achieve these goals. So they're trying to bridge their technological gaps, aviation gaps, transportation. But in this scenario, this was like very interesting. So it came to the realization that this flight was based on a hacking campaign. So they stole most of the IPs, like, you know, um, the patents, like these copyrights from different companies from Europe, from the from Asia, from the US. In that flight, they stole like almost all the parts, and then they went and built that flight in China. So how does it impact the world economy? Let's say GE, like General Electric company in US, invested like 5 billion just in research. That's a research that took like 5 or 10 years. And then before they could invest on that and make, like, you know, implement the result of the research, it is stolen, and somebody implement that and then make that product a very cheap price. So that affects, like, you know, the economy in a very big way, not just like one country, but it's like a global economy. And now try to think like how many such corporate espionage are going on across the world. A lot. So that is just one way in which cybersecurity is affecting the world economy. And of course, like, we have all this hacking, like banks are being breached, money going on, like, you know, stolen. We have like maybe there's an industry or a hospital which is under ransomware attack. They can't do anything because all their files are encrypted, the computers are not working for like 10 days. So that's also affects the economy. Like there's no development, nothing is going on. They can't do anything. And by the end of the day, they still need to pay that ransomware, which is like in a lot of money, so that they get their system back and working. So that affects the economy in a big way. I don't know if that answers your question, Paola.
Yes.
Awesome. Somebody is saying I'm interested in SD. I don't know what SD is in full, but Rose, software development. Okay. So yeah, so software development, like right now we have something security by design. So what that involves, like, so we have from the development cycle, like, we have the software life cycle, we implement security throughout that process, so that the system that you build, whatever, like that software you're building, it builds with the security measures. So yeah, there is a cybersecurity in software development. From the start, we know, okay, so we need to avoid buffer overflow. We need to avoid, like, sometimes when you build software, you make comments or something like within your code just to remind you to do something. And sometimes if you don't implement that in a very good way, it could be like a backdoor to somebody. Somebody will go do reverse engineering of that and find the loopholes. So we have what we call security by design. So throughout the software design process, we call the SDLC, software lifecycle. Yeah, you implement security as you go through design, development, testing, deployment, and maintenance. So yeah, that is possible. Any question? Are you there, Ruth?
Yes, I am.
If there is any more question, I'll be happy to take that. If there is none, then I think I will just say thank you guys for showing up. And I'm happy to, take this session with you guys. I like giving back, sharing, what I know, and helping people also who need help in one way or other. So yeah.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Joab. It's been a very, very great session. And I believe this was an introduction. We still have on Saturday and the entire next week. And I'm sure you are going to share more knowledge, more skills, more tools that as the coders at American Spaces, this is a community of young people who are developing solutions. So at the end of this coders at American session, they need to come up with innovative solutions in health, democracy, security, yeah, and also even in cybersecurity, because there is a segment in security that we are going to award innovative solution. So if some of you will be interested in cybersecurity, by next week, I'm sure you shall have acquired enough skills. We are going to create different communities where you continue learning. Like for example, tomorrow we are going to meet coders at American Spaces in Mombasa. And as you can see, we shared some link with all of you. From next month, we'll be visiting American Spaces physically. So this will give us a great opportunity to meet with you, to see how best we could support you. Yeah, and we really look forward for very great innovative solutions from you. Yeah, so today was just an introduction session. Job is going to do a lot with the remaining time, and I hope you'll really all learn a lot throughout this session. So without much wasting time, if you have any other question, you can pass them on the group, and definitely I will be able to share them with the Job. Yeah, and Job, thank you so much for creating time to share with us. We look forward to learning from you, and also we also look forward to your next session on Saturday at 4 p.m.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Next session, like based on what you just said, like, this was very basic kind of introduction session. And you did mention something like, people need to have like, projects, something they can work on. So I think like next session, if everything would be fine with that, we can go like, deeper to specific area of cybersecurity so that like people can decide like these are the kind of projects like I would like to do my project on this area. So I will try to break it down just to help you try to find like which area you want to do your project or you want to go to. I think that will help people. And also like if I can I can share some of the resources that can help with that.
Oh, great. Thank you so much, Job. I can see Paula is asking, where is the
Um,
American space?
so where is the spaces here in Nairobi?
It is in Moi University within Moi Avenue.
I know where it is. So we meet physically next month.
Yes, yes. Actually, there is a form that we shared. In Nairobi, it's supposed to be, I think it's supposed to be on 11th March. Did you get
Yeah. I did not get the form. Which form?
are you on WhatsApp group?
Yes.
Okay, then I will reshare it again. Then you can fill the form so that we can be able to know how many people will be able to attend because of the COVID restriction. Will not allow everyone. Like for example, over 50 people applied in Mombasa and we'll only have 30. So I will post it again on the group so that you can book your slots earlier.
Yes, but unfortunately I have another class at 5:30.
Okay, so when we come to the physical spaces, we'll not have sessions in the evening. We'll be having them from 10 to 12.
Yes.
Is that okay?
Yes, because I have another class at 5:30 to 7:30. I is data science with Africa Data School.
Oh, that's very, very okay. We'll put
Yes.
that into consideration and this meeting will run concurrently. If you're able to join the physical meeting, you will join. And if you're also able to join the virtual meeting, they're going to happen concurrently. So in a way, if you're not able to join the physical meeting, you can still join the through Zoom. So we are going to use both platforms so that everyone is catered for. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing, Paula.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so without too much wasting time, I'll share the same link on the group. If you've not been able to put in your details, please book earlier because you're going to grant the earliest people reserve by filling the form. Yeah, so thank you so much and do have a great evening.